Okay, students, so now we are going to start a mock interview for our student Charan Kuyasi, and he is from mechanical engineering, and this is mock interview for CSL.
Yes, sir.
So, Charan, first of all, you tell us about yourself.
Sir, my name is Charan Kuyashi. I belongs to Shimoga, near in Karnataka, near Jog Waterfalls, one of the largest waterfalls in India. Sir, I did my schooling in Murarji Desai Residential School. After that, I did my engineering in mechanical department from Sri Jayachandra College of Engineering with 8.92 CGPA. During my college days, my project was design and fabrication of go-kart, and after that, I got an opportunity to work in a company Mitsubishi Heavy Industry. After doing 8 months of job, I quit the job because I want to pursue my career in a government organization. Currently, I am preparing for the various government exams. And coming to my family background, my father is a farmer and my mother is a homemaker, and I have one younger sister. She has completed her MS in geology. Sir, and my academic achievements are I am full fee waiver of entire my schooling because I cleared the state level exams. This is all about my short introduction, sir.
Okay. So, you were working with Mitsubishi, right?
Yes, sir. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
Did you enjoy the work there?
Yes, sir. It was a new experience in my life. I really had a good time over there.
Then why did you plan to go for government sector?
Sir, initially I thought that during my working days, I got an work-life balance. So because I did not get the time to prepare for the government exams, ultimate my aim is to get into a government company, government organization. So I decided that change is needed. So I quit the job, sir, finally.
No. You joined an organization, right?
Yes, sir.
And you enjoyed your work there. You said you enjoyed the work.
Yes, sir. It was a new experience for yes, sir. I got an opportunity to learn new things about industrial perspective. So, but my ultimate aim is to get into a PSUs. But
so why ultimate goal is getting in a PSU?
Sir, because in government organization like CSL, it is a huge organization. Spread of this business is very high. So I will expose to a lot of career opportunities, and I will be having a greater opportunity to learn new skills. And there is a very transparency in the payment. There will be a very transparency in the promotion, so that I could reach the top of the ladder within the organization.
But in private sector also people reach at the top of the organization.
Yes, sir. But I personally feel work-life balance is not that much of good. So I decided.
What are your expectations from work-life balance?
Sir, like I need to spend my own time. Like I am a travel. I want to travel and I want to spend with my family and friends. During my working days, I did not get an opportunity to all this. I was working.
So what is your expected time of work at office? For how much duration in a day you want to work, and for how many days in a week you want to work?
Sir, if it is really necessary for the organization, like if I have to work, I will work, sir. But sometimes what happens in private organization is we have to I mean, we have to work for long hours only. They expected that only. So I really not appreciable in that private, that type of stereotypes in organization like private company.
Okay. Tell me any three skills which you got in during your work with this organization.
Sir, I am a team player. So during my college project, I know the importance of working in a team, and also I am very well organized person. I planned before start the work, and also I believe that I have a leadership skills also.
Okay. Now, is there any negative point in your personality?
Yes, sir. Sometimes I too critical about myself because I have noticed that I always focused on what I really don't have rather than my appreciation and the positiveness getting from the people. And later I found a way that stop overthinking, and stop go over detailing. It was not necessary. And also, and one more thing is, I stressed too much for completion of work within the deadlines, so that later I found that it was not always helpful for the goals. And later I am learning that what I'm learning that before starting any job, realize that magnitude of the job, and accordingly the action has to be taken.
Okay.
So these are
You are from Karnataka, na?
Yes, sir. I am from Karnataka.
So nowadays there is a controversial issue in Karnataka, which is in news. So is this in only news or in reality also on the ground?
Sir, it's a reality now. It's getting worsened day by day. Hijab. There is a quite sensitive issues going on here between the students of Hindu and Muslims because of wearing of hijab Muslims. So I think it is very bad thing happening in Karnataka.
Okay. So where is this case now?
Sir, right now it's in the High Court. They will have a hearing on maybe, I don't know the timings exactly, maybe next week or something. Schools are shut down here for 1 week.
Okay. Do you know about articles? Any article in our Indian Constitution? There are various articles.
Yes, sir. Right to education. Yes, sir. I have some basic articles.
So fundamental rights under which article?
Sir, I'm not really sure. Maybe article number 14 to 17, I guess.
Okay. Now tell me about your hobbies.
Sir, my hobbies are like, I used to play a lot of outdoor games, and traveling if time permits. And I talk with older people. I found really good in that.
Okay. So are you aware about the works which CSL do?
Yes, sir.
So your hobbies and the work CSL do, is there any matching?
Yes, sir.
How you can relate them? How your hobbies
Sir,
can be beneficial for CSL?
yes, sir. What I personally feel is hobbies like for your own for keeping your health in a good manner, and like whenever you're stressed, you wish to what you want to do. So that I used to play a lot of games so that I will be very free and I will be very free and really I mean my mind is very relaxed so that work I can work efficiently, and I used to talk with the older people so that I get a lot of knowledge and their experience about the life and how you treat the people and how you should manage the people. So like that only that those are the qualities which will be helpful in my career. That's
Okay,
what I
tell
believe.
me any 4 products of CSL.
Sir, CSL are into ship building. They build like tankers, air defense ships, and bulk carriers, and passenger vessels.
Okay. And how many locations?
Uh, Six. I'm not exactly sure about, sir. Maybe six, I guess. 6 to 6. Yeah, six.
So do you know about those 6 locations, or you don't have idea about those locations?
Yes, I'm having an idea, but I don't know the exact number. Like in Kochi, Malpe, Kolkata, Mumbai, and Andaman,
So
and
which
one
is your
more.
preferred location to work?
Sorry, sir.
Which is your preferred location for work? Where do you
Sir,
want to get
I don't
posted
have
first
any
time?
I don't have any problem for working. I mean, I don't have any issue for working in any location because I used to. I want to explore new places. But if I get an opportunity to work in Kochi itself, it will be very helpful because it is near my home place. So that's extra advantage I will get. Other than I don't have any big issue. I mean, the issue with the location of work.
Okay. Is there any other organization, you may be private or government, which do the same type of activity which CSL do in India?
Sir, right at present, CSL is the only shipbuilding company in the country. Like there may be some small scales of business are going on in the country, like some small scale suppliers. But as far as the shipbuilding, Cochin is the only shipbuilding in the country.
So should private players be allowed to enter in this domain?
Sir, what I believe is if the company is making a good profit or good revenue to the country, and there is no need to make it as a privatization. CSL is a very profit oriented company nowadays, latest years as we concern. So if privatization happen, it's really what I feel is really it's not a good thing for the country also. So because it is a revenue making company. So why the government want to lose profit from the company?
Okay. Okay, Vishal sir, you can continue now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, Charan, you are going for CSL.
Yes, sir.
So, what are the subjects which you have prepared for this interview, Charan? What are your favorite
Sir,
subjects?
my favorite subjects are like strength of materials, fluid mechanics, refrigeration and air conditioning, heat and mass transfer.
Okay. And in which year you have completed your B.Tech, Charan?
Sir, 2019, sir.
Tell us brief first about your B.Tech project.
Sir, my B.Tech project was design and fabrication of go-kart. it's an all India competition conducted by ICII, Imperial Society of Innovative Engineers. The main objective of the this project is to promote the motorsports events and knowledge of motorsports events in India. So we have there will be a since it is an all India competition, anyone can apply for it. There will be a rounds like virtual rounds and dynamic rounds. In virtual rounds, we need to submit our design perspective, I mean designs, and in dynamic rounds there will be a test like endurance test and turning test and acceleration test and weight test. And what we since it is a big project, so we in our college we divide among ourselves into 4 departments, like chassis department, brake department, and our powertrain department. And I worked in a powertrain department. My role to this project is design the shaft which is capable enough to whatever the loads coming on it, and also design the proper selection of sprocket which produces the required torque to propel the vehicle.
Charan, tell us some basics about the designing of a shaft. Like on what basis we design a shaft?
Yes, sir. Sir, while designing a shaft, first we need to consider what are the loads which acting on the shaft. Like in our case, there will be a bending load and torsional load coming onto the shaft. So we need to consider those bending and torsional loads and getting the equivalent bending loads by using the theories of failure. Then after that, by using the theories of failure concept, we get a required shape, and also required not a shape, it's a required diameter. After that, based on that, we used to select the proper material. Then we tested it, and it has successful.
Charan, suppose if you consider a shaft which is rotating, and at the same time there is some kind of gear mounted at the center of the shaft. So ends are supported. We are considering it as a kind of ends. There are some kind of bearing which are supporting the shaft. So for that case, Charan, can you draw the stress distribution across the cross section of a shaft?
Yes, sir.
And tell me where we will get the maximum stress.
Yes, sir. So can you sorry, sir. So can you visible, sir? Can you visible?
So you are only considering the static load, but I mentioned the shaft is rotating also.
Oh, sorry.
So are you getting this, Charan?
Yes, sir.
The shaft is rotating, at the same time there is some kind of gear mounted at the center.
Okay, sir. This is for point load acting on that is fully mounted on the shaft.
That's fine. You can consider that gear as a point load, because as compared to the length of the shaft, that area for that will be less. You can consider, there is no such problem, but you need to consider the torsional shear stress induced in the shaft. Are you getting that some idea, Charan?
Yes, sir. Is the torque is acting at the center only, right?
torque will act at the entire cross section.
I mean, the load of
You are
I mean,
transmitting.
that torque is acting at the. I mean, load is acting at the center part.
You actually you can. It is better to consider some kind of pulley at the center. Okay, rather than gear.
Yes, sir.
So shaft is rotating. There is some kind of pulley which is
Yes,
having
sir.
some weight. So that pulley is at the center, and you are transmitting power through that shaft. Are you getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so pulley is better to consider. So that point load will be same whether you are having a gear or some kind of pulley, but that shaft is rotating.
Yes.
That is the case.
Yes, sir. I will try.
And tell me what type of material generally we choose for a shaft?
Stainless steel, sir. We have used stainless steel.
Stainless steel. And what
Yes.
type? Like if I will ask you theories of failure, what type of theory of failure we will prefer for that kind of case?
Sir, stainless steel, since steel is a mild ductile material, it undergo failure of cup and cone arrangement. So we used to consider the maximum shear stress acted on the ductile material.
Then what type of failure we are going to observe in a shaft?
Sir, it bend if the shaft is acted upon the bending, so there will be a bending loss, bending load, bending failure. Like there will be a strength by considering the strength criteria. We should not allow the shaft to go beyond the deflection, some predefined deflection. And if we consider the strength criteria, we should not allow the stress generated in the shaft beyond a certain, I mean, factor of by considering the factor of safety, we should not allow the stress greater than the working stress.
Just tell me, like suppose if there is some kind of torque T is applied, so can you tell me the maximum twisting stress and maximum bending stress in the shaft?
Sir, it is the case of pure shear state of stress. The maximum shear stress in the material and the maximum tensile stress and maximum compressive stress all are same. It is equivalent to 16T pi d cube.
There will be no bending.
Sir, it is the case of pure shear state of stress. There will be no bending, sir.
And what about the present case?
Sorry, sir.
What about the present case, the case which we have considered for that case?
Sir, here we have considered both bending and torsion, since the shaft is subjected to static load of pulley, as well as it is subjected to a torsion also. So we need to consider both bending moment and twisting moment. By getting a theories of failure, we find out the equivalent twisting moment or equivalent bending moment, among which by using the formula, by considering both of these bending and twisting, so we get an required dia for the shaft.
Charan, what is buoyancy? What is buoyancy effect?
Sir, buoyancy, whenever the body completely submerged or whenever the body completely submerged or floating on fluid, there will be a net vertical force acted upon the body. That force is called as a buoyancy force.
Like in cargoes, if I will ask you, like CSL, the cargoes which they develop, can you tell me the ranges for a high-speed cargo? Like, you know, in automobiles also, like we define high-speed vehicles, low-speed vehicles, something like that with their speed in kilometers per hour, something like that. In the same case, if I will ask you the categorization of cargoes based on their speed, so you are having any kind of idea, like what speed the high-speed car, in what range the high-speed cargoes will have a speed? what will be the speed ranges for the high speed cargos? My question is clear, Charan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, since the cargo is very huge, a machine moving on a huge sea, there will be. I figuring out. I found that some. I don't know the really. I am guessing here. The speed will be somewhere around 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, sir. Maximum speed.
So for cargos also we are going to measure the speed in kilometers.
Sir, nautical miles per hour.
Nautical per miles.
Nautical miles in terms of nauticals.
Okay. You heard about Venturi tube, Charan? Venturi tube.
Yes, sir.
So for what purpose we use Venturi tube?
Sir, Venturi tube is used for the calculation of the discharge in the pipes.
You know, in Charan, in Venturi tube, the divergent angle is slightly lower, very much less as compared to the convergent angle.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, in diverging, in diverging section, the angle should be low because there will be a pressure gradient, positive pressure gradient as the fluid flow, and also if you consider the boundary layer phenomena, there will be a back pressure against the flowing fluid. So there must be a low angle in the divergent section.
Then what is natural convection?
Sir, natural convection is a mode of heat transfer which is occurred due to a change in density of the fluid.
You heard about beta value, beta. Something isobaric volume expansion coefficient. What is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is that? Isobaric volume expansion coefficient.
So, isobaric volume expansivity is defined as the change in the volumetric strain to the at a constant pressure. A change in the volumetric expansion or contraction with respect to the change in temperature at a constant pressure.
So how you can define this beta value for ideal gases?
Sir, beta value can be defined by 1 over T mean temperature.
1 over T.
T mean temperature means, sir, it is the temperature of ambient temperature and temperature of the fluid. We taking the mean. Inverse of that mean gives the volume expansivity. Yes, sir. Volume expansivity.
Okay, Vithal sir. So now we can move to the feedback section.
Yes, sir. So Charan, the subjects which you have mentioned, strength of material, fluid mechanics, HT, like so other than these subjects, they can ask you some question from your project part.
Yes,
so,
sir.
You mentioned about design and fabrication of go-karts, so they can ask you about your role, what role you have played. So in design and fabrication, they can ask you much questions from welding. So in this case, you know that generally, like when we interact, the time period which we are having, that is only 30-35 minutes, and
Yes,
you know, we can only predict those are the areas which you need to prepare. So this time I have not asked you much question from that area, but you need to prepare. So welding also, welding some little bit part of the IC engine related to like engine, what type of engine you have used, gears also, okay, differential. So designing, what type of tool you have used for designing. So all those areas related to your project, you need to prepare. I think somewhere you mentioned about shaft. That's why I asked you some questions related to shaft. Okay, Aapne, like you specifically mentioned your role about that, you know? So in that case, that's why, because there are the questions, most of the time they will be linked type. If you are highlighting something, they are going to ask you. Okay, so it depends on you. Like if you are highlighting your project, you are highlighting your role, and very clearly you are mentioning about your role. So means you are attracting the interviewer towards that area, and it's good actually. If you prepare that area, it will be good. But if you are not prepared, then obviously, then actually it is not good to highlight those areas in which you are not comfortable enough. Are you getting my point, Charan? तो थोड़ा सा इसको देख लेना, प्रिपेयर कर लेना in each and every direction. shaft case mein you missed the torsional area. I have not asked you kind of loading, how you can draw the bending moment or shear stress. I just asked you the distribution, how you can draw the bending stress distribution and shear stress distribution in that case. ठीक है, चलो उसको चेक करना, मेहनत करो. अभी आपका वो पूरा ठीक नहीं था because you missed that initially the twisting. I asked you some question from buoyancy that you answered. उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी. Rigidity also, for avoiding the flow separation we keep the divergent angle lesser as compared to the convergent angle. But other than this, refrigeration, DCRS, what type of refrigeration system we use in cargos, okay, air conditioning, how we maintain the relative humidity, what is relative humidity. So all those questions are very much important because in cargos they need to maintain some kind of temperature to transport some kind of food items. So if you are mentioning RAC as your favorite subject, so RAC, heat transfer, all basic questions only. They're not going to ask you much depth question. So your way of delivery is looking fine, and your thinking, that is also looking fine. You are paying attention to the question. But it's my suggestion to you, like when you are getting some question, first think, what are the conditions? Okay, like what is given to you, then you need to apply your mind, and then only you need to answer. Okay, so take your time to think and then answer. बाकी ठीक है, you are looking confidence. I think that will be okay for you, है ना? There is no such major problem. ठीक है, चलो, good luck and keep preparing. When is your interview?
Sir, 18th, February 18th.
18th. So check all these areas. If you face any kind of difficulty, you can anytime you can get back to me. We will discuss it again in detail. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Charan.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, Charan. Charan, in some questions, you are not answering the question. You are answering something different actually. Means, listen each question carefully.
Yes, sir.
Answer accordingly what they are asking.
Yes, sir.
Like I asked you about, tell me any 3 skills which you got in during your job at Mitsubishi.
Yes, sir.
But you told me skills, all skills you have that were from your college and from earlier also. So that was a difference.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. So क्या उन्होंने पूछा है? Focus on that कि भाई आपने जॉब से क्या स्किल्स ऑब्टेन किया है, वो 3 स्किल्स आपको बताना है. ठीक है. सो आपने जो आंसर किया उसको जॉब के साथ रिलेट करके यू हैव टू आंसर, राइट?
Sir, like I have learned
you can say that during my this 8 months job, I have worked as a team leader as well as a member of team. I have played both the roles there. So I got this skill from this job that I am more confident, more comfortable in working in a team as a member as well as a team leader.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes,
So
sir.
similarly, you can say for others also. Relate everyone
Yes,
from
sir.
that. Because I was
Yes,
asking
sir.
from that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then since you are from Karnataka, so maybe they may ask you some question from this controversial issue nowadays in news.
Yes, sir.
So what they may ask you, they may check your knowledge of some articles about the constitution, because every time whenever you open a news channel or you read any news, you can find different expert views on these things. So you should also have some basic idea about what are our fundamental rights. Okay.
Yes,
Under which article
Yes, sir.
they are covered, how many fundamental rights. So constitution related concepts, they can ask you some basic issues.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Prepare
Yes, sir.
according to the
Yes, sir.
constitution. Okay. Mainly focus
Yes, sir.
on articles. If they ask, then you have to answer in a neutral way. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have to talk according to the constitution, and they may also ask you about the different judgments made on these issues up to now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madras High Court decision, Kerala High Court decision, earlier which decisions we have obtained. So you can have some idea about those also,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Then I asked you about competitors of this CSL. So there are
Yes, sir.
many competitors like Majgaon Dock Limited, Garden Research, AVG Shipyard Limited, Bharati Defence and Infrastructure Limited, and so on. These all are competitors of this. They are also doing the same type of work.
Okay, okay, sir. I am not aware of. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And
Yes, sir.
the most important is AVG Shipyard Limited. Do you know, recently in news, we have a largest bank scam.
No, sir. No, sir. I didn't have.
Okay. So the largest bank scam of amounting around 25,000 crore rupees.
Yes, sir.
This is related to AVG Shipyard Limited, which is in news nowadays.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
you should have knowledge of that also.
Yes, sir.
Your general current awareness is also checked there, no?
Yes, sir.
Whatever is happening in nation, and
Yes, sir.
since this is related to ship making company also, and I asked you about should private players be allowed? So you answered.
Yes, sir.
So now we have private players already in this domain.
Yes, sir.
So answer accordingly now. Okay, you can say
Yes,
that
sir.
there are
Got
private
it.
players.
Yes, sir.
Already they are private players,
Yes, sir.
and you can relate this scam also, that there are some issues with, if we allow more private players, then there can be such issues like this one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
My preference is strengthening our PSUs is better if they are performing well. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rest,
Yes.
you have confidence level is okay, and keep that good in interview also. Don't feel any
Yes.
hesitation and don't feel nervous there. Be confident and
Yes, sir.
answer properly, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, how to handle this kind of current issues? I mean, if I don't, I mean, if I have a half knowledge about that, and should I, how can I handle these kind of questions?
You can say that, sir, actually, due to my preparation for CSL, I was very much interested and this is in joining CSL. So I was working hard for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So since last 1 or 2 months, I have not gone through the new channels, social media, these things. I have
Yes, sir. Yes,
restricted
sir.
myself to the preparation for this exam only. So
Yes, sir.
I am sorry, I don't have exactly the idea about this topic right now.
Yes, sir. If they asked about the CSL, I think company related questions, if I don't know that questions, should I
Sorry,
tell
sir, I
them?
don't have.
Okay.
You can simply say sorry, sir. I don't have idea
Yes,
about
sir.
this right now.
That's not an issue.
No, no, you
That's
can say
not a
no.
problem
No.
for not knowing that.
If you don't know answer, no issue.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
at that time,
Got
don't
it.
feel nervous. Confidently say
Yes,
no
sir.
with respect. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All the best, Charan.